Getting a new PC, it's like giving birth, with less placenta. The only true pain you would have to endure is the grueling hours of actually setting it up, and the wire management. But it's thanks to my friends who are way more of a PC expert than I am, that I've created what I deem to be the most powerful computer ever! At least until the next graphics card get announced and released. This, my friends, contains an outstanding i9 core CPU, an NVIDIA GTX 490, 32GB of RAM, and all of this processing power and bandwidth to record Battle for Bikini Bottom. In 4K! This is mainly the purpose of why I needed to upgrade. Not the Battle for Bikini Bottom part, but to capture footage in native 4K. This is not just for console footage, but PC footage as well. My old computer was able to game up to 2K, but my capture card was only able to record up to 1080p. And I did have a 4K capture card, but I could only record up to 2K for PC footage since I didn't have a 4K monitor, and even after that, my output feed broke, so I could only record in 1080p. And I had to rely on latency of the OBS preview just to play the game. Now, thankfully, the capture card was close to no latency, so that's a plus, but it's still disappointing that I couldn't record in 4K due to technical limitations and faulty hardware. Recording requires a beast of a setup, and recording in 4K amplifies that power. I would get stutters of footage and frame skips because my GPU just needed more power to record, and in doing so, couldn't process all of the recording images in real time. Plus, even if I do get everything set up properly, at the time, I don't have any 4K systems aside from my PC. The only console I had at the time with my old PC was the Xbox One X, so graphically it was more of a luxury item. But now that I got a PS5 and an Xbox Series X, 4K is becoming more of a standard. To be fair, 1080p is still watchable, so investing in a new PC is more of a preparation for the future content, and to play the latest games in the quality I find fascinating. Also, since the Xbox Series X is backwards compatible with every Xbox game, except for Kinect games, this thing is essentially a glorified Just Dance machine. Now, with this new PC, I also got a brand new 4K 60 capture card, and to make sure I don't loosen the signals, I've got switches to send input signals to the correct console/computer. So far they work wonderfully, but sometimes the HDMI signal when recording PC footage would just drop dead for a few seconds, until finally coming back. I think I need a new HDMI that's heat resistant because after a long while, when plugged into the input of the PC, the plug becomes hotter than the Sahara Desert. Dropping inputs is not too big of a deal for me. Most of the games have a pause button, so I can just do that and resume when the signal is back. Except when I had to play a rhythm game, and that shit ruins my flow. God damn it, I was about to FC Love is War! I benchmarked most of the intensive games to see if I could record and play at the same time at the best resolution possible, and after multiple tests, I can in fact run Crysis. By uncapping the frame rate, I was actually able to play almost every game above 60 FPS. I won't be able to see it since my refresh rate is 60 FPS, but feel-wise, the game feels a lot more fluid. There are only two exceptions where I've run into some issues and stutters when recording. Any game that includes ray tracing mode, Cyberpunk 2077 comes into mind, at least without DLSS NVIDIA enabled. The game still looks beautiful even on high settings, so I don't think I have a complete graphical loss. The second exception would be any game with f***ing Denuvo. Every time I boot up Persona 5 Strikers on PC, it doesn't matter what graphic settings I have, this thing stutters. I've heard that this game does have a botched PC port, which might explain why I'm having some technical issues even on the most high-end graphics card. It's a shame because this is a really good game, but not a good game for PC. The RTX 4090, ladies and gentlemen, it can run Red Dead Redemption 2 at 4K 60, but not Persona 5 Strikers. I also tried to dabble into emulation as well and see how they run. Unfortunately, it's true emulation, so despite being installed on an SSD, loading screens emulate the power of its native hardware. Regardless of that though, PS3 emulation, Wii U emulation, holy crap, being able to play PS3 hardware on my PC feels amazing. Not everyone gets this luxury, but the PSN store is dying. Preservation is even more important nowadays. Unfortunately, not every game is compatible. This all depends on the ISO file's compatibility with the emulator and the emulator itself. I've noticed emulators such as RPCS3, Dolphin, PPSSPP, and Cemu perform splendidly well, but Xenia and Citra still need some development time for emulation to truly perform well. I also cannot boot my original Xbox emulator with Cemu, so unless I could figure out how to fix that, this thing is not getting any use. But for the games that I can run on the emulators that do work, they work flawlessly. And I'm doing all this while recording at the same time. Imagine the power of my GPU when I don't have that leash holding me back. Ho ho ho! It's like heaven. But nothing tops emulation than playing the most graphically beautiful game in recent history. Playing Breath of the Wild in 4K with all the textures and graphics set to max. This looks beautiful. The best part is that it even outputs higher than 60 FPS. So this version, if you have the specs to do so, I definitely say it's the best way to play the game. And why I'm so disappointed Tears of the Kingdom is not going to be a PC game. Come on, Nintendo. Microsoft's been in the PC game market, and Sony just started to get into it. When the hell's your turn? But now it's time for the big boys to come out, introducing the world of VR. I think I need some improvements. Okay, so to be fair, when actually testing this out, the screen that outputs the game looks very smooth and runs very well. The VR headset also looks amazing. Everything feels so real, and being in a virtual space just enhances that experience. I have no idea how to record VR footage. For one, the audio is bad, and the video feed streaming wirelessly and directly through my PC tends to get a little choppy. My computer can most definitely handle VR on the hardware side. I just need to tinker around with my software side in order to get crisp and clear footage. So that's what I've been doing for the past year. The fact that I've uploaded only 4 videos at that time period certainly didn't help my scheduling issues, but I am hoping to change that for the future. I most certainly want to get back to content creating, and with a new slew of games releasing this year, this is gonna be a busy year for me. More so than last year. I mean, it's not like I could disengage the drought from last year. This is already my 2nd video, so I'm already halfway through my commitment. And nothing can ruin the beginning of this year than to see this baby work at the most demanding games releasing this year. You fucking serious? This thing's already outdated? I gotta download more RAM!